Actually, I was born in Selma, Alabama, a small town. I had a pretty good childhood, I would say, until some things started happening. Maybe around 5 or 6 years old. I guess my world just got shattered in a sense. My sister was molested by her uncle. And that same uncle had done some things to me also, had me perform oral sex on him. And my mom removed us from that situation. It kept happening to me with relatives, a cousin, female cousin, the great granddad. And I think that's when I just got traumatized.
Most victims of human trafficking actually were abused as children, either sexually or physically. Many of them were then, based on that trauma, recruited into prostitution during their teenage years.
As I grew up into being a teenager, I started hanging out with children my age, students my age, and we were doing teenage things like smoking weed and drinking and pretty much just going on through life, just escaping, really. I was 15, 16 years old when I had my first child. When I was about 25 or 26 years old, I had 4 children by now. I started selling drugs, being a single parent. I got tired of waiting on welfare. It just wasn't enough. I started selling the drugs, which I couldn't sell, so I gave up on selling them and I started using them. I would use crack once a month, and it just progressed to using every day for days at a time. And that's all I wanted to do. And I told my children's mom to come get my children because I wasn't coming back home. And I just gave up. It's a gutter, trashy life to live. There's nothing good and fun about it. It's degrading. It takes you away from your family, your community. You're no longer a productive member of society. The first trick I turned for crack is like, it blew my mind. After the guy asked me to perform oral sex on him, I could not believe it. That I had done something that I was totally against from childhood, because that's what my sister's uncle did to me. And from that night forward, I felt more degraded, and I just kept degrading myself. I kept using more, and the more I used, the more I tricked.
Women in our society are seen as commodities, and especially the women that are victims of human trafficking. So it's something that happens not only as we like to think, in Asia, the Philippines, or Thailand. It's something that happens in the United States, where women and others who are vulnerable become easy targets for people who use them then as commodities.
I would turn tricks all night, all day, until I got tired. Other people started tricking me off to other people. I stayed up for days at a time, wouldn't take a bath, wouldn't eat. I tried to hit the pipe, and as I was hitting it, I was wishing that my heart would just pop. I wanted to die. And I got more angry and resentful when it didn't work. I didn't like what I was doing. I didn't like what I was doing to myself. My life was in a mess, and I needed someone to help me fix it. And I met some ladies from Eden House and started talking, and I got in. And when I got into Eden House, my life really started changing. It's like a fog was being lifted.
Eden House is a relatively young and new profit. We are the only home in Louisiana that serves adult victims of human trafficking and commercial sexual exploitation. We want to provide services so that women whose lives have revolved around human trafficking can actually be turned around and they become productive. It involves mental and physical health care. It involves dental care. It involves therapy. It involves taking care of their medical needs.
They offered me things. They offered me a key to the house. But what they offered me that what really has a meaning was love and compassion. Being here, it gave me an opportunity to really reveal who I really was and what was really going on the inside of me.
Our first graduate, Christina Young, she really exemplifies, I think, all that Eden House strives to do, which is to respect a person's individuality, to be able to help her to restore her dignity and her humanity. We're completely independently and locally funded, and we are kept alive by the donations as well as the volunteer services that members of our community are providing.
I'm not using. That's great. I'm enjoying my grandchildren. I'm really enjoying my daughters because they all are adults now, and we're like really getting to know each other now. I'm going to be responsible again. I'm going to be paying my own bills again. Nobody's going to have to take care of me. I'm going to have my own place again. And this time, I'm not going to be using. I didn't think I would live to see 40, let alone 44 years old. A long time ago, I thought I was going to die. Just got to keep hope alive because there's a purpose for all of us to be here. I've been suicidal, I've been homicidal, I've been all that. But it's just that little sparkle of hope that I think kept me alive, that kept things going. That little bit of hope goes a long way.